out the internationally observed 16 Days of Activism campaign.
Stop raping us!
SABC News will focus on the plight of women and children as the country continues to grapple with the shadow pandemic. SABC News, independent and impartial.
The Education Department has also pledged its support because a number of its learners have been raped. Small businesses, taxi associations and public transport companies in the SKD Municipality and the Department of Transport and Community Safety are also marching in Mthatha today to put the spotlight on gender-based violence. The marchers plan to hand over a pledge to the Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane. The public transport operators want to commit through this pledge to join hands to fight the scourge. Fundiswa Mhlekude has been on the story for us since the morning. Fundiswa, what's the latest?
A very good morning once again. We are at Savoy Hotel here in Mthatha, where stakeholders who are taking part in the march are here making their pledges. We have the National Prosecuting Authority, we have the transport industry, which comprises of bus operators and taxi operators, as well as the Department of Education. They are making their pledges. We also have the civil society who are inside making their pledges, and some even confessing to have taken part in gender-based violence and saying that they will not be doing it again. We have Dr. Peyana, or rather Dr. Bongie Peyana, who is the district director of the Department of Education here in the OR Tambo Coastal, who has also been saying that inside they are also having a number of their students, or learners rather, who have been abused or raped and even killed. So he is talking to us today. Mr. Dr. Peyana, please, thank you very much for joining us. Inside we're saying that you are victims of this scourge. How?
Yes, as the Department of Education, which is a department or a sector that is dealing with young kids or learners between the ages of, let's say, 7 to 18, probable, you will find that we are having a lot of our learners at school who have been victims, whose victimhood can be divided into two. Some of them have been directly affected by GBV, having been raped or even assaulted or whatever form of abuse, but some of them are coming from ailing homesteads wherein they've been victims through inheriting that from the setup where they are coming from, like their parents are having a problem of fighting or whatever form of violence. Then when they are coming to the schooling to school, they'll find themselves being victims in that particular form.
And what is your pledge today?
We are pledging as the Department of Education to say we'll make it a point that we prioritize this awareness, because it is through awareness that at least we can really cure this whole problem. As a department, we are pledging that in every school and in every circuit and in every area where we find ourselves to be in, we'll make the point that at least we promulgate the whole concept of gender-based violence and rebuke it in the strongest possible terms, so that at least everybody who is in the societies and in the communities understand exactly that as the Department of Education, having been victims of the problem, we are having our voice added amongst people whose voices are rebuking gender-based violence.
I also heard, Dr. Peyana, that only a week ago there is a teacher who was also killed by her boyfriend. He's a teacher at one of the model schools here in Mthatha. Have you heard that? And what do you say? Because you only mention learners as victims of gender-based violence.
Well, very little I know about the incident because it falls out of my jurisdiction, but I've heard about that. Yes, there are so many instances where not only learners are affected, but even teachers and everybody involved in the sector having been a victim either at the workplace or even beyond the premises of work. But we are also saying we are shouting and condemning all these incidents, whether it's at the university level or is it wherever, because at the end of the day, those people who are affected by this and who fall victims of this are having their kids and they are learners in our schools. Then we find that when the parents are getting this problem outside, it has got a serious effect on the education of learners who are at school, because those are their parents, some of them are their sisters, some of them are their brothers, because they are part of that society.
Thank you very much, Dr. Peyana. That is the district director of the Department of Education in the OR Tambo Coastal, Dr. Bongie Peyana, saying that they will raise awareness and make sure that their learners are aware of the scourge they are facing, the social ills that are not facing only learners and students, but also women in general. It's back to you guys in studio. We will keep you updated as to what happens.
Thank you so much for Fundiswa Mhlekude there for you. Now, President